storykidsrise.
Prince Caspian and Princess Anya. Once upon a time, there were two beautiful kingdoms, Elara and Soloris. Both kingdoms had sparkling rivers, tall mountains, and lush green forests. But, despite being neighbors, the people of Elara and Soloris did not get along. For many years, the kingdoms had been at war. Prince Caspian was the brave and adventurous young prince of Elara. He loved exploring the forests and climbing the highest hills in his kingdom. He was curious about the world, but he knew he had to stay away from Soloris because of the rivalry. In Soloris lived Princess Anya, a smart and kind princess. She enjoyed reading books, discovering new things, and spending time in the royal gardens. Anya had often heard about Elara, but she wondered why they were fighting. She didn't want war, she wanted peace. One bright and sunny day, Princess Anya was walking through her favorite garden when she saw something strange. A small stone in the garden floor was loose. Anya knelt down and pulled at the stone, revealing a hidden passage beneath it. With a mixture of excitement and curiosity, she climbed down into the tunnel. The tunnel was dark, but Anya could see a faint light ahead. She followed the path until she found herself in a secret room filled with old books, maps, and shining artifacts from ancient times. But before she could explore, she heard footsteps coming from the other side of the room. It was Prince Caspian. He had found the same tunnel entrance from his side of the kingdom. Both Caspian and Anya stood frozen, staring at each other in surprise. They realized they were from rival kingdoms, but neither of them wanted to fight. Even though their kingdoms were enemies, Caspian and Anya felt a strong connection. They both loved exploring and wanted to learn more about the world. They talked for hours, sharing stories about their homes, their dreams, and their wishes for peace. But they knew they had to keep their friendship a secret. If anyone found out, it could lead to more fighting between the kingdoms. Caspian and Anya promised to meet in the secret room whenever they could, and they agreed to try and find a way to bring peace between their kingdoms. Every week, Caspian and Anya met in the hidden room. They would read old scrolls, study maps, and talk about how their people could live in peace. They realized the war had been going on for so long that no one even remembered why it started. One day, a terrible event happened in Solaris. The most valuable gem in the kingdom, the Sunstone, was stolen from the royal treasury. This gem was said to bring light and warmth to Solaris, and its loss made everyone in the kingdom worry. Word soon spread that someone from Elara had stolen the Sunstone. Many people in Solaris believed this was a sign that Elara wanted to continue the war, and anger spread throughout the kingdom. Prince Caspian was blamed for the theft. When Anya heard this, she was shocked. She knew Caspian would never steal the Sunstone, so she decided to investigate the mystery herself. Caspian and Anya secretly met in the tunnel, and Anya told him everything about the missing Sunstone. Together, they decided to follow the clues and find out who the real thief was. They found a strange trail that led them deep into the forest, past the borders of both kingdoms. The trail led them to a mysterious figure wearing a dark cloak. The figure was not from Elara or Solaris, but from a faraway land. This person had stolen the Sunstone to make the two kingdoms fight even more. As Caspian and Anya learned more about the thief, they discovered an ancient prophecy. The prophecy said that only a prince and a princess from Elara and Solaris could bring peace to the two kingdoms. The prophecy also mentioned a legendary weapon, the Sword of Peace, which could only be found by those who truly wished to end the war. Caspian and Anya knew they had to find this sword. They set off on a journey together, traveling through forests, climbing mountains, and crossing rivers. Along the way, they faced many challenges, including dangerous animals, tricky puzzles, and magical barriers. But no matter how hard the journey became, Caspian and Anya stayed strong. They believed in peace, and they believed in each other. After many days of travel, they finally found the Sword of Peace in an ancient temple hidden deep within the mountains.
With the sword in hand, Caspian and Anya returned to their kingdoms. But before they could declare peace, they had to stop the mysterious figure who had stolen the Sunstone. The dark figure was revealed to be a powerful sorcerer who had been manipulating both kingdoms for years. The sorcerer wanted to keep the kingdoms fighting, as it gave him more power. Caspian and Anya bravely faced the sorcerer together. With the Sword of Peace in Caspian's hand and Anya's wisdom guiding them, they fought the sorcerer in a fierce battle. After a long struggle, they managed to defeat the sorcerer. The Sunstone was returned to Solaris, and peace was finally within reach. When the people of Elara and Solaris heard what Caspian and Anya had done, they were amazed. The two young royals had uncovered the truth, stopped the war, and returned the precious Sunstone. Both kingdoms celebrated together, and for the first time in many years, there was joy and laughter between Elara and Solaris. Caspian and Anya's friendship had not only brought peace but also turned into love. Together, they promised to rule their kingdoms side by side, bringing harmony to the land. The two kingdoms, once rivals, were now united in friendship and peace. And Caspian and Anya lived happily ever after, always reminding their people of the importance of kindness, understanding, and working together. Years passed, and the united kingdoms of Elara and Solaris thrived under the wise and kind rule of King Caspian and Queen Anya. The sparkling rivers of both lands now flowed freely between the once divided borders, and the people often spoke of how the unity between the kingdoms had brought prosperity to everyone. Caspian and Anya worked tirelessly to build bridges, both literally and figuratively, between their kingdoms, constructing new roads and trade routes to strengthen their bond. They created the Council of Harmony, where citizens from both kingdoms would meet and discuss important matters, ensuring that peace and prosperity were maintained. The council included not just nobles, but farmers, merchants, and scholars, allowing everyone a voice in shaping their future. The people loved their rulers dearly, for they were always fair, and they often visited the villages to listen to their subjects' concerns. In time, the once hostile kingdoms became so intertwined that people from Alara and Soloris began moving freely between the lands, starting families, and creating lasting friendships. The children of the two kingdoms played together, unaware of the bitter history that had once divided their homes. The royal couple organized an annual festival of unity, a grand celebration where everyone gathered in the Great Valley between Alara and Soloris, sharing music, food, and stories of peace. The festival became a symbol of their enduring peace, and it was said that during this time, even the animals of the forest gathered peacefully around to witness the celebration.
Despite the peace, strange rumors began to circulate about a mysterious third kingdom beyond the farthest mountains. Umbra, the Shadow Kingdom, ruled by a powerful queen named Seraphina. Seraphina had long envied the beauty and prosperity of Alara and Soloris, and her heart was filled with bitterness for being left out of their peaceful union. She commanded an army of shadow creatures, dark and powerful beings that had been living in secret for centuries, hidden in the darkest corners of the land. One fateful night, a dark mist began to creep over the borders of Alara and Soloris, marking the arrival of Seraphina's forces. The once peaceful nights were now filled with whispers of the shadows, and people began to vanish mysteriously, leaving behind no trace but the faint sound of a cold wind. Caspian and Anya, hearing of the growing unrest, called for an emergency meeting of the Council of Harmony. Old prophecies from their ancient books foretold the rise of the Shadow Queen, warning that only the light of unity, a mystical power hidden deep within the hearts of those who believed in peace, could stop her. Determined to protect their people, Caspian and Anya set off on another perilous journey, this time together with their closest advisors and friends. They traveled through enchanted forests and over towering mountains to find the light of unity, encountering mythical creatures who tested their bravery, wisdom, and commitment to peace. At last, in a secret cave beneath the highest peak of the Silver Mountains, they found the Heartstone of Unity, a glowing crystal that held the pure essence of harmony. But there was a catch: the power of the Heartstone could only be awakened if the leaders of both kingdoms put their personal desires aside and truly wished for peace, not just for their lands, but for the entire world. With this knowledge, Caspian and Anya returned to face Seraphina, knowing that their greatest battle would not be fought with swords, but with their hearts. Seraphina and her shadow army emerged from the dark mist, shrouding the sky above Alara and Soloris in a suffocating cloud. Her cold voice echoed across the land, as she declared her intent to rule both kingdoms and plunge them into eternal darkness. Caspian, holding the Heartstone of Unity, and Anya, standing beside him with the wisdom she had gained, faced Seraphina on the battlefield where both armies gathered. Seraphina's power was overwhelming, and her shadow creatures surged toward the united forces of Alara and Soloris, threatening to tear apart the peace they had fought so hard to maintain. But just as all seemed lost, Caspian and Anya stood hand in hand, focusing their hearts on the unity between their people, calling forth the power of the Heartstone. The Heartstone began to glow brightly, its light cutting through the shadows like a beacon of hope. Seraphina, realizing the strength of their unity, tried to overpower them with her dark magic, but the light only grew stronger, blinding the shadows. With one final surge, the Heartstone unleashed a brilliant burst of energy that swept across the battlefield, turning the shadow creatures to dust and enveloping Seraphina in a radiant glow. The Dark Queen, weakened and defeated, fell to her knees. Her bitterness faded, and in that moment, she realized the power of unity that she had never understood. Caspian and Anya, seeing the vulnerability in Seraphina's eyes, chose to show her mercy. They offered her a place in their kingdoms, not as a ruler, but as a guide to help her learn the ways of peace. With Seraphina's defeat, the dark mist that had plagued the lands lifted, and the sun once again shone brightly over Alara and Soloris. The people celebrated not just the end of the battle, but the kindness and mercy their rulers had shown, for they had proven that even the darkest heart could be redeemed. Seraphina, though no longer a queen, was given a small home in the valley between the two kingdoms, where she spent her days learning about peace and harmony from the people around her. The Heartstone of Unity was placed in the Great Hall of the Temple of Peace, where it would serve as a reminder to future generations that unity and understanding could overcome any darkness. Caspian and Anya, now rulers of not just 2, but 3 lands, became known as the Keepers of Peace, and their legacy spread far and wide. Years passed, and their children grew up in a world free of war, guided by the values their parents had instilled in them. Alara, Soloris, and Umbra flourished together, their lands more beautiful and prosperous than ever before, as the 3 kingdoms remained united in peace. Every year, the Festival of Unity was celebrated not just by Alara and Soloris, but by Umbra as well, where people gathered to remember the journey from rivalry to friendship. Caspian and Anya's love for one another continued to inspire all those around them, and their story became a beacon of hope for all lands, near and far. And so, the united kingdoms of Alara, Soloris, and Umbra lived in eternal peace, their people forever cherishing the values of kindness, forgiveness, and the power of unity. With the kingdoms of Alara and Soloris united, Caspian and Anya worked together to strengthen their bond. They spent their days visiting villages, building schools, and encouraging the people of both lands to embrace peace. However, rumors began to spread of an ancient power that once ruled the lands before Alara and Soloris. This power, long forgotten, had been waiting for the moment when the kingdoms were most vulnerable. One evening, as Caspian and Anya prepared for a grand celebration to mark 1 year of peace, they were visited by a mysterious sage. The sage warned them of a new threat, the Shadow King, who had awakened from his ancient slumber. This dark ruler had once controlled both Alara and Soloris, and he sought to reclaim his lost power by dividing the kingdoms once more. Caspian and Anya were alarmed. They had defeated a sorcerer before, but the Shadow King's power was far greater. His strength lay not only in magic but also in sowing seeds of doubt and fear among the people. To stop him, you must seek the Crystal of Unity, the sage told them. It is the only force that can counter his dark magic and bring true harmony between your people. Without hesitation, Caspian and Anya embarked on a new journey, leaving behind their comfortable life in the palace to find the fabled crystal. Along the way, they encountered old allies and new foes. The Shadow King's influence began to spread across the lands, turning former friends into enemies. Despite the growing danger, Caspian and Anya stayed determined. They traveled across deserts, crossed stormy seas, and scaled ice-capped mountains, each step bringing them closer to the crystal. As they journeyed, they learned that the Crystal of Unity wasn't just a physical object, it represented the bond of trust and love between the people of Alara and Solaris. Only by uniting their hearts and minds could the crystal's power be activated. While Caspian and Anya were away, unrest began to grow within both kingdoms. Old rivalries that had been put aside started resurfacing. The Shadow King's whispers found their way into the ears of nobles and advisors, planting seeds of mistrust. "Why should Alara rule over us?" whispered one Solaris noble. "Why should we share power with Solaris?" grumbled a leader in Alara. These doubts grew, and soon, factions within both kingdoms began to argue over leadership and resources. The fragile peace seemed on the brink of collapse. Meanwhile, Caspian and Anya reached the Forest of Memories, where the Crystal of Unity was said to be hidden. But the path was dangerous, filled with illusions and tricks meant to test their trust in one another. At one point, Caspian became trapped in a maze of mirrors, each one reflecting a version of himself that questioned his ability to rule. "You're not strong enough," one reflection taunted. "You can't save your kingdom," another sneered. Anya, too, faced challenges. She was shown visions of a future where Solaris had fallen into ruin. "You can't trust anyone," a voice told her. "Even Caspian will abandon you when it matters most." But through these trials, Caspian and Anya found strength in each other. They knew that the key to defeating the illusions was their unbreakable bond. Together, they faced the final trial, where they had to choose between saving their own kingdom or saving each other. Without hesitation, they chose each other, and in that moment, the Crystal of Unity appeared, glowing with a brilliant light. With the crystal in their possession, they returned to their kingdoms, only to find chaos brewing. The Shadow King's influence had grown stronger in their absence, and war was on the horizon once again. Desperate to stop the conflict, Caspian and Anya revealed the Crystal of Unity to their people, but the divisions ran too deep. Many had already lost faith in peace. Just as it seemed all hope was lost, the sky darkened, and a terrible storm engulfed the kingdoms. The Shadow King had returned, his presence casting a dark shadow over the land. "You thought you could defeat me with a mere crystal," the Shadow King sneered as he appeared before the royal courts of Alara and Solaris. His power was immense, and his eyes glowed with malice. The armies of both kingdoms prepared for battle, but Caspian and Anya knew that war would only give the Shadow King more power. "The Crystal of Unity must be activated through the hearts of the people," Anya whispered. "It's the only way to weaken him." Caspian called upon the citizens of Alara and Solaris to lay down their arms and unite in peace once more. At first, the people were hesitant, but as Caspian and Anya held the Crystal of Unity high, its light began to spread across the land. The Shadow King, sensing the crystal's power, unleashed his dark magic. But as the light grew stronger, the shadow began to retreat. "This is not the end," the Shadow King roared as he summoned a monstrous army of dark creatures from the underworld to attack the kingdoms. Caspian and Anya fought bravely alongside their people, but the battle was fierce. Just when it seemed they might be overwhelmed, the light from the crystal flared, and the dark creatures vanished. Weakened but not defeated, the Shadow King retreated to his dark fortress. Caspian and Anya knew that the final battle was yet to come. "We must go after him," Caspian said. "If we don't stop him now, he will return with more power. Caspian, Anya, and a group of loyal warriors from both kingdoms ventured into the heart of the Shadow King's domain, a dark and twisted realm filled with dangers at every turn. As they neared the Shadow King's fortress, they were confronted by his most fearsome lieutenant, the Warden of Shadows, a towering figure cloaked in darkness. A fierce battle ensued, but with the power of the Crystal of Unity, Caspian and Anya managed to defeat the Warden and breach the walls of the fortress. Inside, they faced the Shadow King himself. His power had grown weaker, but he was still a formidable foe. "You think you've won," he snarled. "I will return again and again. Darkness will always find a way." Caspian and Anya stood together, the Crystal of Unity shining brightly between them. "Not if we stand united," Anya replied. In a final, climactic battle, the Shadow King unleashed all his dark magic, but the crystal's light grew stronger with each passing moment. Caspian and Anya, drawing on the strength of their bond and the unity of their people, managed to shatter the Shadow King's power once and for all. With a blinding flash of light, the Shadow King was defeated, his essence vanishing into the wind. The dark clouds lifted, and the kingdoms of Alara and Solaris were bathed in sunlight once more. With the Shadow King defeated, true peace finally returned to the lands of Alara and Solaris. The people of both kingdoms celebrated together, not as rivals, but as allies united by the power of love and friendship. Caspian and Anya were crowned as the new rulers of the United Kingdoms, and their reign became known as the *** Golden Age of Harmony ***. They continued to work tirelessly to ensure that the mistakes of the past were never repeated, encouraging diplomacy, understanding, and unity among their people. Over the years, the story of Caspian and Anya's journey spread far and wide, inspiring other kingdoms to seek peace and cooperation instead of war. The Crystal of Unity was placed in a grand temple, a symbol of the everlasting bond between Alara and Solaris. As Caspian and Anya looked out over their united kingdom, they knew that the road to peace had been long and difficult, but it had been worth every step. And so, they lived happily ever after, guiding their people with wisdom and compassion, ensuring that the light of unity would never fade. Years passed since the Shadow King's defeat, and peace blossomed in the United Kingdom of Alara Solaris. King Caspian and Queen Anya's reign was marked by fairness, prosperity, and unity. But deep in the forgotten corners of the kingdom, remnants of the Shadow King's dark magic still lingered. One day, a strange phenomenon occurred. A mysterious storm cloud formed over the mountains, unlike any seen before. The skies darkened, and the wind carried whispers of forgotten prophecies. Caspian and Anya knew the peace they had fought so hard for could be in jeopardy once again. The ancient Council of Elders, a secret group of scholars and mystics from the time before the kingdoms united, reached out to Caspian and Anya. They revealed that the Shadow King had left behind a terrible legacy, 3 ancient relics of power that, if found and activated, could resurrect his dark spirit. Caspian and Anya were alarmed. If these relics fell into the wrong hands, their world could be plunged into chaos once again. They resolved to find and destroy these relics before anyone else could. To aid in their quest, the council introduced them to 3 powerful allies: Aaron, a skilled warrior from the northern Icelands, Lyra, a brilliant mage from the mystical deserts, and Fwnen, a young but talented thief from the bustling cities. Together, they formed a new fellowship. Their journey began with a search for the Crown of Shadows, the first of the relics. It was said to be hidden deep within the Cavern of Echoes, a place where only those with pure intentions could survive. The fellowship set off on their quest, venturing through treacherous lands, facing unpredictable weather, and surviving encounters with wild creatures. Their bond grew stronger, but so did the dangers they faced. Inside the Cavern of Echoes, the air was thick with magic. Every step they took echoed with the voices of the past, whispers of those who had sought the Crown of Shadows before and failed. The cavern tested their resolve, showing them their worst fears. Anya was shown visions of Solaris falling into ruin, while Caspian saw his kingdom torn apart by betrayal. But they held firm, reminding each other of the love and unity that had saved their people once before. Finally, they reached the heart of the cavern and found the Crown of Shadows. But guarding it was the Serpent of Time, an ancient creature bound to the relic, tasked with preventing anyone from taking it. A fierce battle ensued, with Aaron wielding his sword against the serpent's massive coils, and Lyra using her magic to protect the group. Caspian and Anya fought side by side, their combined strength allowing them to finally defeat the serpent and claim the Crown of Shadows. But instead of destroying it, Anya had an idea. "We shouldn't destroy the relics," she said. "We should use them to seal away the Shadow King's magic forever." The council had warned them that the relics were dangerous, but Caspian trusted Anya's instincts. They decided to gather all 3 relics and find a way to use their power for good. Their next destination was the Obsidian Forest, where the second relic, the Orb of Midnight, was said to be hidden. The forest was home to ancient, sentient trees, whose roots held the power of the earth itself. As they entered the forest, they were immediately met with resistance. The trees whispered in an ancient language, and the ground shifted beneath their feet, making it difficult to navigate. Fyn, with his quick reflexes and agility, proved invaluable in guiding the group through the maze of roots and shifting paths. He found hidden passages and clues that led them closer to the Orb of Midnight. But the forest held another danger. Viren, a rogue sorcerer who had once been an apprentice of the Shadow King, had been seeking the orb for his own purposes. He had heard of the Fellowship's quest and set traps to hinder them. Viren's traps were clever and dangerous. At one point, the group was nearly caught in a deadly illusion, where they couldn't distinguish between reality and nightmare. But with Lyra's magical knowledge and Fyn's quick thinking, they managed to break free. They finally reached the center of the forest, where the Tree of Ages held the Orb of Midnight in its highest branches. But as they tried to retrieve it, Viren appeared, determined to claim the orb for himself. A powerful duel erupted between Viren and Lyra, their magic lighting up the forest in a storm of fire and ice. Caspian, Anya, and Aaron fought Viren's summoned creatures, while Fyn scaled the tree to reach the orb. They managed to defeat Viren, though he escaped before they could capture him. With the Orb of Midnight in their possession, they were now 2 relics closer to stopping the Shadow King's resurrection. But there was still one relic left, the Blade of Eternity, said to be hidden in the most dangerous place of all, the Abyss of Sorrows. This abyss was a deep chasm, where only the bravest dared to venture, as it was said to drain the hope and willpower of those who entered. Before heading to the abyss, the Fellowship returned to Alara Solaris to gather their strength. The people were anxious, as rumors of dark forces gathering at the borders spread. Caspian and Anya reassured them, promising that the relics would bring peace once more. Their journey to the Abyss of Sorrows was their most perilous yet. The air was heavy with despair, and the closer they got, the more they felt the weight of hopelessness bearing down on them. Fyn, always light-hearted and full of jokes, grew silent, his confidence waning. Lyra's magic flickered, and Aaron, the unshakable warrior, began to doubt his strength. Even Caspian and Anya felt the abyss pulling at their hearts. But Anya, ever resourceful, found a way to push through the darkness. She began to sing a song of hope, a song passed down through the generations of Solaris. The melody lifted their spirits, and soon the group was able to continue, the light of hope guiding them. At the deepest part of the abyss, they found the *** shrine of the lost ***, where the blade of eternity was embedded in stone. But guarding the shrine was the Wraith of Despair, a shadowy figure born of the abyss itself. The Wraith's presence was overwhelming, feeding on their deepest fears and insecurities. It whispered to Caspian that he was unworthy of the throne, and to Anya that she would never truly unite the kingdoms. But as the Wraith attacked, Caspian and Anya stood firm, their hands clasped together. "We are stronger together," Caspian said, his voice steady. With the strength of their bond, they shattered the Wraith's illusions and struck it down. With the blade of eternity in hand, the Fellowship returned to the surface, triumphant but weary. They had all three relics now, but the true challenge still lay ahead: how to use them to prevent the Shadow King's return once and for all. Back in the capital, the ancient council revealed the truth. The relics could only be used by those who had the purest hearts, and they had to be activated together at the Temple of the Stars, a sacred place hidden deep within the mountains. But time was running out. Viren had rallied the remaining followers of the Shadow King and was preparing an army to storm the temple and claim the relics for himself. Caspian, Anya, and the Fellowship led their own forces to the temple, determined to stop Viren and his army from reaching the relics. The battle that ensued was unlike any they had fought before. Magic clashed against steel, and the skies darkened as the forces of light and shadow collided. Aaron led the charge, his sword glowing with the power of the relics, while Lyra's spells created shields of light to protect their army. In the midst of the battle, Caspian and Anya reached the altar of the temple. With the relics in place, they began the ritual to seal away the Shadow King's magic forever. But Viren, desperate to stop them, attacked with all his power. A final, epic duel unfolded between him and the Fellowship, with Caspian and Anya at the heart of the conflict. Just as it seemed Viren might overpower them, the relics glowed with a brilliant light. The power of unity, love, and hope flowed through the temple, banishing Viren and the remnants of the Shadow King's magic once and for all. The war was over, and peace returned to the land. The relics were sealed away in the Temple of the Stars, never to be used again, and the people of Alara Solaris celebrated the courage and strength of their leaders. Caspian and Anya, though tired from their journey, looked out over their united. In the years that followed, Caspian and Anya's kingdom flourished like never before. They held grand festivals in honor of their victory, inviting everyone from the northern icelands to the mystical deserts. Children laughed and played, and the air was filled with music and joy. However, the memory of their adventure remained a cherished story passed down through generations. Caspian and Anya often gathered the children around to recount their brave quest, reminding them of the power of friendship and courage. One evening, while watching the sunset over the kingdom, Anya turned to Caspian with a thoughtful expression. "Do you think the Shadow King's magic is truly gone forever?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Caspian smiled reassuringly. "As long as we remember our unity and kindness, darkness will never prevail. We must always be vigilant." Inspired by their story, the children began to create their own adventures. They formed clubs, pretending to be mighty warriors, skilled mags, and clever thieves, exploring the woods and fields surrounding their kingdom. One day, while playing near the Cavern of Echoes, the children stumbled upon a strange, shimmering light emanating from within. Brave little Lena, a girl with a fiery spirit, suggested they investigate. "What if it's magic?" whispered her friend, Tommy, with wide eyes. "What if we find treasure?" With hearts racing, they ventured into the cavern, their imaginations igniting with excitement. As they entered, they felt a familiar aura of magic, but this time, it was welcoming and warm. Deep within the cavern, they discovered an ancient stone tablet covered in glowing runes. "It's a message," exclaimed Lena, deciphering the symbols. "It says that those with pure hearts can awaken the magic of the past to create a brighter future." Inspired, the children decided to hold a ceremony to honor the bond between the kingdoms and the lessons of bravery, love, and unity. They invited Caspian and Anya, who were thrilled to see the younger generation embracing the spirit of their adventure. On the day of the ceremony, the entire kingdom gathered at the foot of the mountains. Caspian and Anya spoke to the children, sharing tales of their journey and the importance of friendship. "Every one of you carries the magic within you," Anya declared, her voice ringing with warmth. "It is the magic of kindness, bravery, and love for one another." As the sun set behind the mountains, the children held hands and formed a circle around the ancient stone tablet. They closed their eyes and chanted words of friendship and hope, their voices echoing throughout the cavern. Suddenly, the tablet began to glow brighter, and the air shimmered with magic. A gentle breeze swept through, carrying whispers of the past. The spirits of the ancient guardians appeared, smiling down upon the children. "Your hearts are pure, and your bond is strong," said a voice like wind chimes. "You have awakened the magic of unity. Use it wisely to protect your kingdom." From that day on, the children became the guardians of unity, promising to uphold the values of kindness and bravery. They learned to help each other, protect their land, and spread joy throughout Ilarasolores. Caspian and Anya watched proudly as the children grew into courageous leaders of their own. They knew that even though the Shadow King was gone, the true magic of their kingdom was in the hearts of its people. Years later, when Caspian and Anya looked back on their lives, they realized their adventure had planted the seeds for future generations. The kingdom remained united, thriving in peace and harmony, just as they had fought for. And so, the tale of Prince Caspian and Princess Anya became a legend, a story of hope and courage that would be told for generations to come, reminding everyone that together, they could overcome any darkness. The children, now young adults, continued to gather at the Cavern of Echoes, sharing their dreams and adventures, always inspired by the bravery of their beloved rulers. They understood that as long as they cherished their unity, light would always triumph over darkness. And thus, the legacy of Caspian and Anya lived on, woven into the very fabric of Ilarasolores, a kingdom where love, friendship, and courage reigned forevermore. One day, a mysterious traveler named Elias arrived in the kingdom. He wore a cloak of deep blue and carried an ancient scroll, his eyes gleaming with stories from faraway lands. The villagers gathered around, eager to hear what he had to share. "I have come from the kingdom of Zephyria," Elias began, his voice resonating with wisdom. "There, I learned of a powerful artifact known as the Heart of the Stars. It is said to grant immense wisdom and strength to those pure of heart." Caspian and Anya exchanged glances, intrigued. "What troubles Zephyria?" Anya asked. "Why do you seek the Heart of the Stars?" Elias sighed, his expression serious. "A dark force has emerged, threatening to plunge Zephyria into chaos. The Heart of the Stars can help us restore balance, but it lies hidden in the Cave of Whispers, guarded by ancient enchantments." Caspian felt a familiar spark of adventure igniting within him. "We must help. If the Heart of the Stars can protect our kingdoms, we cannot stand idly by." Anya nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "We will gather a group of brave souls to embark on this quest together." They quickly organized a team, including Lena, Tommy, and several skilled warriors from their kingdom. Together, they set out for Zephyria, journeying through lush forests and across majestic mountains. As they traveled, Elias shared stories of Zephyria's rich history and its once peaceful realm. The group listened in awe, growing more determined to save the kingdom from impending doom. Upon reaching the Cave of Whispers, they stood before its imposing entrance, surrounded by mystical vines that shimmered in the light. "The cave is known for testing the hearts of those who enter," Elias warned. "Only the pure of heart will find the Heart of the Stars." Taking a deep breath, they stepped inside, the darkness enveloping them like a cloak. Whispers echoed around them, challenging their fears and insecurities. Each member of the group faced their inner struggles. Lena, the brave one, felt a wave of doubt wash over her. "What if I'm not strong enough to protect everyone?" she whispered. Caspian placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Remember our friendship, Lena. Together, we are stronger than our fears." As they pressed on, the whispers grew louder, but the group held on to each other, their bonds shining brighter with every step. Finally, they reached a chamber filled with sparkling crystals, and at its center lay the Heart of the Stars, radiating an ethereal glow. "We made it!" Anya exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. But as she stepped forward, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, a guardian of the heart. "Only one of pure heart may take the Heart of the Stars," the guardian declared. "You must prove your worth by answering a riddle." The group nodded, ready for the challenge. The guardian spoke, "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" The group exchanged puzzled looks, but Anya suddenly smiled. "An echo," she exclaimed. The guardian nodded, stepping aside. "You have proven your worth. Take the Heart of the Stars." Caspian carefully lifted the heart, feeling its warmth spread through him. "With this, we can restore peace to Zephyria," he said, glancing at Elias. They made their way back through the cave, the whispers now encouraging them. Emerging into the sunlight, they could see the effects of the heart's power enveloping the land around them. As they reached Zephyria's castle, the dark force that had plagued the kingdom began to dissolve, leaving behind a vibrant landscape. The citizens cheered, grateful for their newfound hope. The rulers of Zephyria, King Aemon and Queen Selene, welcomed Caspian and Anya with open arms. "You have saved us," King Aemon exclaimed. "We owe you our gratitude and loyalty." Anya smiled warmly. "We are all united in this fight against darkness. Together, we can ensure that it never returns." Inspired by their bravery, the people of Zephyria and Alaris Oloris began to forge a deeper bond, exchanging cultures, traditions, and friendships. With the heart of the stars placed in a sacred location, its magic spread, fostering unity and understanding among all kingdoms. Caspian and Anya returned to their homeland, forever changed by their journey. They knew that they had not only saved a kingdom but had also strengthened the ties that bound their worlds together. In the years that followed, Caspian and Anya continued to lead with compassion and courage, their love for each other and their people shining brightly. As the sun set on another day, they often stood together on the castle balcony, watching the stars twinkle above, grateful for the magic of friendship and unity that had forever changed their lives. And so, the tale of Prince Caspian and Princess Anya grew richer, filled with adventures and lessons learned. Their legacy would endure, inspiring future generations to cherish the bonds of love, courage, and unity in their own kingdoms. For in every heart, there lies the potential for greatness, waiting to be awakened by the magic of friendship, just as it had been for Caspian, Anya, and all those who believed in their tale. As the seasons changed, the bond between Alaris Oloris and Zephyria flourished. The kingdoms celebrated a grand festival called the Festival of Stars, where music, dance, and storytelling filled the air. Caspian and Anya took the lead in organizing the festival, eager to share their cultures and traditions. They invited artists, musicians, and storytellers from both kingdoms to create a tapestry of celebration that honored their unity. On the day of the festival, the townsfolk decorated the streets with colorful banners and lanterns that shimmered like the stars. Children ran joyfully, their laughter echoing through the air, while food stalls offered delicious treats from both realms. As night fell, a breathtaking fireworks display lit up the sky, illuminating the faces of the gathered crowd. Caspian and Anya stood on a raised platform, beaming with pride. "Tonight, we celebrate not just our kingdoms but the friendships we have forged," Anya announced, her voice ringing clear. "Together, we are stronger, braver, and more united than ever." The crowd erupted in cheers, and the festival continued into the night, filled with dances and stories that connected the hearts of all who attended. Among the guests was Lady Elira, a wise and mystical figure from the kingdom of Eldoria. She approached Caspian and Anya with a twinkle in her eye. "I sense a greater adventure awaits you both," she said mysteriously. Intrigued, Caspian asked, "What do you mean, Lady Elira? What adventure lies ahead?" "The heart of the stars has awakened something ancient," she explained. "A prophecy speaks of the celestial guardians, beings of immense power who will rise to protect the balance of the realms. They need your help to awaken." Anya felt a shiver of excitement. "How can we assist them?" Lady Elira handed them a delicate pendant shaped like a star. "This pendant will guide you to the celestial temple, where the guardians are said to rest. Trust in your hearts, for they will lead you." With their purpose renewed, Caspian and Anya gathered their friends from both kingdoms, ready to embark on their next adventure. They set out at dawn, following the pendant's gentle glow. As they journeyed through enchanted forests and mystical mountains, they encountered breathtaking sights and faced challenges that tested their courage and resolve. One day, They arrived at a river that sparkled like diamonds. "We need to cross," Caspian said, eyeing the swift current. Suddenly, a giant bridge appeared, crafted from luminous vines. "The River of Dreams only opens to those who believe in the impossible," Anya mused. They crossed the bridge together, feeling the magic of the moment. After days of travel, they finally stood before the Celestial Temple, an awe-inspiring structure carved from crystal and stone. The entrance shimmered with a radiant light, inviting them inside. As they entered, they were greeted by the celestial guardians, ethereal beings with flowing robes and wise eyes that sparkled like stars. "Welcome, brave hearts," the leader, Guardian Orion, said. "You have awakened us with your pure intentions. We seek your guidance," Caspian spoke earnestly. "We want to protect our kingdoms from the darkness that threatens to return." Moral of the story is together, kindness and teamwork can conquer any darkness. Questions to ask for kids. What qualities do Caspian and Anya show that help them succeed on their adventures? How does the heart of the stars help bring peace to Zephyria and the other kingdoms? What lesson can we learn about friendship and teamwork from Caspian, Anya, and their friends? What do you think the heart of stars represents, and why is it important for the kingdoms? How do Caspian and Anya show teamwork during their adventure? Can you give an example? What challenges do you think they will face in the Cave of Whispers, and how might they overcome them? If you were part of their team, what special skill or strength would you bring to the adventure? How does friendship help Caspian and Anya on their quest? Can you think of a time when friendship helped you? Why do you think it was important for Caspian and Anya to gather a team before starting their quest? What does bravery mean to you, and how do you think Caspian and Anya demonstrate it in the story? If you could create your own magical artifact, what would it be and what powers would it have? How do you think the villagers felt when they learned about the quest for the Heart of Stars? Why is their support important? What lesson about friendship and unity do you think Caspian and Anya learned during their adventure? Prince Caspian and Princess Anya. Kids, please like, share, and subscribe to this video.
Story Kids Rise.